And Dr. Smalley, you say in the book that it is even talked about more by God in the Bible than even instruction on parenting. And some might say, well, hold on a second, did I miss something reading through there?
That's right.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the whole book of Song of Solomon is all about the sexual relationship. And in fact, even when I was younger and would read the book, that book in Scripture, it didn't really make a lot of sense to me until Ted actually opened up my eyes to understanding what that book really says and what those descriptions are.
And there's a lot of content for parenting, but we're talking parenting skills. If you really look at it, Deuteronomy 6, Ephesians 6, you know, are just a few passages on warning fathers not to provoke their children as you walk along the way, you know, teach your kids. But as far as instructions on skills of parenting, even the book of Proverbs is a dad talking to his son. He's giving his son content, but it's how much do you discipline, you know, how do you discipline, how do you spank or not spank? I mean, those are the things that we're left in Scripture with, you know, fewer details than we get in the Song of Solomon on sexual intimacy.
Now, a large portion of the book, maybe almost half, is dealing more with, you know, communication and relationship issues.
Which is why guys stop reading it. They're going to read the first few chapters and go, hey, I bought this book.
But they know the last part is coming as well, but they get through it. But so tell us about some of these three areas that are so key, Dr. Smalley.
Right. When both spouses recognize that when they develop an attitude of honor for each other, that you are extremely valuable, a creation of God, and every part of you and your past and everything else is so important, and when you're fascinated by their uniqueness and amazed at who they are, and the more you study who they are, and in fact, probably one of the greatest things a couple can do is to begin a list, and it can go throughout your entire life, but a list of all the things that are amazing and wonderful and positive and great about this person. And it's everything. Their physical, their emotional, their past, their intelligence, just anything and everything, their personality, that you can write down this positive. The negative stuff just comes natural anyway, but we'll leave that off the page. But the longer the list, and even from time to time to review them with each other, the list of how special we're created by God and who we are and just everything about us and our memories that we have together as a couple, dating memories and first couple of 3 or 4 years of marriage, and in fact our entire married life. As we add that to we increase the value of our mate, and the more we treasure a person, that's where our heart is, that's where our affection is. And so when a couple develops in that area, and some marriage experts, that's all they have couples work on, and 70% of their counseling, that's all it is, and they help 70% of the couples they see, just from making that list. And so that's one of the most important things a couple can do. The sexual relationship comes out of that, but the most important is the second one.
But we do that early on, and we believe that, you know, curiosity and fascination early in a marriage. Song of Solomon, chapter 2:14, is Solomon to the Shulamite woman, "My dove in the cleft of the rocks, I want to see you. I want to hear your voice, and I want to see your face." So early in a relationship, it's all about curiosity and fascination. You know, the viewer knows that there was a time in their marriage and in their relationship that they loved talking to their wife. They loved asking her great questions about who she was and what she did when she was younger and about her childhood. The problem is when we get married and we live out our marriage for a little while, we replace curiosity and fascination with duty and responsibility. And I think we have a lot of husbands who are very responsible, but they're lousy lovers. And that's a big challenge. The first 6 chapters of that book are for men to realize that intimacy to a woman is spelled T-A-L-K, talk. It's conversation. And that's why we've had some people read the book and they got frustrated about 3 or 4 chapters in because they were wanting, you know, if we're having problems in our marriage, we need to get more creative. We need to change the position. We need to bring pornography in. And we're saying, no, that is not what you need to do. You need to go back to the bringing honor, which ultimately brings safety and security.
One lifetime is not enough to find out everything about your mate. Yeah. So when we lose curiosity, then we lose the conversational depth and the amazement of who I'm actually married to here. There's so much stuff. Your daughter is studying biology, and there's so many differences between men and women that you could get your PhD and still wouldn't know enough about your mate and just the unique differences between men and women. Every cell in our body is different and just amazing. But the second one is the most important. This is the key to marriage, the key to life, the key to all relationships. It's called safety. And safety is another word for love. Safety is another word for best friendship. And see, I never knew this for, gosh, I don't know how many years I was married. 38 years I was married. And my son, who's a psychologist, with his research, finally discovered that safety is everything a relationship needs to be. And you only need one thing to have a great relationship, and that's safety. And so basically what it is you remain curious and honoring of your mate, of course, continually, but you communicate to them that you're never going to try to fix them ever again. They are who they are, and God created them, and who they're going to be is between them and God, not me. I'm not going to correct you, try to change you, try to improve you, criticize who you are or what you are, judge you. You're not beneath me. You are so valuable in every way. Well, what that does, when you take your eyes off of your mate, because most couples try to change each other, and they don't realize that's the key that's taking their relationship downhill and their sexual relationship basically into the toilet. Because you cannot have a meaningful sexual relationship with a mate who feels unsafe. So when I was married for 38 years, and I finally understood this. My son finally said, "Dad, when are you going to hear me? You keep trying to change Mom." And I said to him, well, who else is going to change her? I mean, nobody else is brave enough to approach her. I'm the only one that can, because she's strong, but she's so awesome. Anyway, I finally got the message and said to Greg, I understand it. I'm going to try this experiment. And I don't know if I have time to tell, but it's a short story.
Okay, sure.
Here's what happened. I asked my wife out to dinner, and I had a ring I brought with me, and so halfway through I put it on the table, and she said, "What's that?" And I said, I've asked you for dinner tonight. It was kind of a candlelight place we can go to, and I said, I asked you for dinner tonight and to give you this gift because I wanted to seek forgiveness from you because I've been sinning against you for 38 years of our marriage, and I didn't really understand it until our son, explained it to me. And she said, well, what have you been doing? So anyway, I said, what I've been doing is I've been trying to change you. Haven't I not criticized you in this area, in this area, in this area? Especially, she didn't exercise with me. We didn't eat right. And I was on her case about eating, And so I said, all these things I confess to you have been really sins against you. My judgmental attitude, Matthew chapter 7 says, what am I doing pointing out the toothpicks in her life when I'm not working on the logs in my own eyes, And so I said, from now on, I'm going to work on my logs and me alone. God and I are going to change. God's going to change me. I'm working on me, not you anymore. The rest of our married life. And here's what happened. Within 4 years, I think it was actually 3 years, after that dinner, when I got off her case, she started exercising every day. She started eating different and better and healthier. All the stuff that I used to criticize, she was relating with God in her own life, and she said, I shouldn't be doing this. I didn't say a thing, okay? In fact, we were exercising about, I'm saying 12 months ago now, I guess. But we were walking at a place in our town, and she said, I want to walk way down to that car and back. And I said, okay, good. So we're walking, and all of a sudden she bends over because she has severe arthritis in her knees, and especially her left knee. And she went, oh, she says, my knee is killing me today. I said, oh, we don't have to walk. Let's stop walking. We don't have to walk. She says, no. She said, I told my knee yesterday, I don't care how much you hurt. If I have to, I'm going to drag you down the road. And I thought to myself, I couldn't get her to talk about this for 38 years. I get off her case. And 3 years later, she's committed to this whole thing. And so what I've found in my own marriage is that our friendship, and incidentally, here's what's great. And I got to shut up and let him talk here. But here's what's really great. when a woman and a man feel safe with each other, they have a tendency to open up their heart to each other, because if you feel safe, you can tell everything you can and want to say to your mate. If you feel safe, you're not going to get criticized or judged or condemned. Best friendship is opening up your heart and sharing who you are and having a person who listens and is fascinated and amazed. That's best friendship. That results in great sex in a marriage. But the average person is hearing me today and saying to themselves, I don't know if I can stop criticizing my mate or stop. Once you realize the importance of it, in fact, it's a command of God in the scriptures, once you realize it and only start working on yourself, it's amazing what happens to the relationship. It's just amazing.